to Fieldsports Britain. Coming up, we're throwing light on night vision. Does it need regulation?
It's totally boring, but very efficient.
We've got daylight optics. Sporting shooter editor Dom Holtam takes an exclusive look at the new Zeiss V8 Superzoom. First, it's the king of ferrets, Simon Whitehead, the man who bugs bunnies. Bugs bunnies, get it?
When the Simon Whitehead show rocks up with Nets, Shovels, Millie, Bella, Shaggy and the Jills, not a rock band, Sooty and Roger, it's a bad time to be a rabbit. This travelling circus is intent on knocking the local bunny population down. It's not sport, it's control, and the farmer wants to ensure his soon-to-be-planted sugarbeet crop is not going to get hammered. So what tricks has the ringmaster got up his sleeve today?
I don't normally have the two dogs out together, but I'm going out today because I need extra hands. We've stop netted the hedge, it's very deep. We've purse netted the best looking holes. I know there's a bit of wire through the middle, but hopefully with the two dogs and Sooty and Roger the other side, we'll have all avenues covered. I would normally put a few hubs in this, a bit stronger ferret, getting the rabbits to budge. Unfortunately, they're now coming into breeding condition, and I don't quite fancy digging down to watch a bit of ferret porn 4 foot under the ground. So we'll be working the gills, and then if I need to, I'll get all the gills out and then just push a hub or two through. But I shan't be working them together like many people do at this time of the year.
Without any male distractions, the girls have done well this morning. Simon has already bagged a dozen rabbits before we arrive and is systematically working down the hedgerow. So far they've just taken mature animals, but in this spot they find some youngsters. They're bound to, it's that time of year, and either the ferrets find them or they're dug out.
What we're now experiencing is nests full of juvenile rabbits, and unfortunately this is the difference between what we do, which is rabbit control, rabbit management, and ferreting for the purists for sport. Now generally this time of the year all the sportsmen have finished, they've packed up, young rabbits appear. They want a little bounty for next year. They don't want to wipe out the rabbits because they'll put an end to their sport. And that's all fair, well and good. That's what we were like when we were younger growing up. But now we are paid by the farmer to come and eradicate the rabbits. So if it means digging a nest out, so be it. So this is the mindset we've got to have. You know, we've got to be humane, we've got to be efficient. But at the end of the day, you've got to be clinical, because what a rabbit is, the size, the breed, the colour, the sex, it's there for the taking, and we're going to take it.
Simon has to be meticulous with the nets. A stitch in time saves 9, and even though he confesses he's an untidy person, it's essential to keep the nets in order.
I'm probably the most untidiest person you'll ever see in your life. But I know if I don't take all these little bits of flailing out of this net, when I go to put it back down there in about 20 minutes, you'll be hearing some industrial language. Story about this ferret here. It's one of this year's youngsters, and I actually give it a kiss of life in the middle of a field to get it to breathe because it was starting to go blue. And when I put it home in the hutch, I didn't think it was going to last very long because it couldn't use its back legs. But because it's such a good little ferret and it's good breeding, I sort of left it overnight, fed it, watered it, kept it under a heat lamp. In the morning, I was like a little monkey again, right as rain. So it just goes to prove what punishment these animals get in that horrible, violent environment there. And I think a lot of people don't give them credit for what they do. But that's why we need good prey drives in these ferrets and not fancy colours. So, today we're going to fit...
No, the last time we filmed Simon, we witnessed a very rare event. This self-confessed miserable git cracked a smile on camera while talking about the unit. He says under-the-radar developmental work is still being carried out at great expense at an R&D lab near Ipswich, but Smilegate has been hard to recover from.
Well, the ruined reputation of me smiling and laughing has taken a lot of putting right. You know, a lot of money at PR and media firm to get my reputation back intact of being a grumpy sod. So, yeah.
With his grumpy reputation restored, we're back on the case and the dogs are pouncing on those rabbits. Of course, it's what's happening underground that's moving the rabbits, and for that the ferrets have to have what Simon calls prey drive. assisted by their diet.
Every youngster, for the first 8 months of its life, has nothing but wild rabbit. Improves the prey drive, gets it used to the smell, the touch, the taste and the texture of it, and it does make a big difference. A rabbiting friend of mine up north, Bob Merrin, swears by it, and it is true. You know, I've tried it, I've tested them, weaned them on other foods. Nothing compares to a rabbit-fed ferret, nothing. And that improves the prey drive, and that's what we need.
Back to work.
Simon's job is hard graft, especially when the ferrets take it upon themselves to stay under. This latest bolted rabbit has loose fur, perfect nesting material.
Physiological state's changing, you know, and all the nest we've been getting is full of this lovely soft down, you know. Keeps the young warm, rotating in the nest. Grab some of the foliage in to make the nest. Then inside the middle of the nest would be some of this down to make it all nice and soft. And that's why when you obviously dig a nest out, you just bring out big puff balls full of fur. So it's, if you look at how soft that is, and how, you know, I know I've used palm olive every night on my hands and they're lovely and soft like a baby's bum, but this is really soft.
In this part of the world, the flooding has not been devastating, but Simon is aware of how damaging it's been to wildlife across the country.
We've been bolting rabbits and digging rabbits in half-filled pipes full of water. But the nests, the few that we have seen, and we've seen more today than we have done for the rest of the season, you've seen a lot of dead, waxy youngsters where the water's seeped through from the heavy rainfall. It's seeped through the ground, through the warren and into the land drainage, and it's just killed them. They just can't stand it. So yeah, I reckon the wet weather has done a lot of damage, not just to rabbits but to all wildlife. If they don't have a good breeding season in the spring or the summer, I wouldn't be surprised if next winter the rabbits, apart from little sporadic localised problems, be very thin on the ground.
As a final push, Simon gathers in the gills and brings out his big hob as the muscle.
It's named Shaggy for a reason. This is the fella that takes all my gills out of season. Got a vasectomy and he lives a life of Riley, don't you? Lives in the penthouse, drinks Perrier water and has nothing but the finest rabbit with the fur left on. And then when he comes out to work for me, he has to work those little things off, don't you fella? So hopefully he's going to do it. Got to work him on his Todd because, as the name describes, and as you've probably seen, he's well in season. So we'll just see if he can work his way through.
It doesn't take long for him to find himself a rabbit, and Simon goes in to help speed things along.
Mr. Bond, I presume.
It's been windy but dry and bright, making it a pleasure to be out, and Simon is threatening to give us another smile.
But all in all, very successful. To cap it all off, you'll probably see a little Whitehead smile.
And there it is!
He always gets his rabbit. Now, from a bunny bugger to a news hound, it's David on the Fieldsports Channel News Stump.
This is Fieldsports Channel News. The Americans have got rid of Piers Morgan. The anti-gun British chat show host suffered from falling ratings on CNN and so lost his job. Pro-gun groups are delighted, and so are the internet vloggers.
I would like to buy a one-way ticket to any country you'd like to go to and pay for the whole thing.
The RSPCA's future hangs in the balance. The chief executive, Gavin Grant, who preferred the RSPCA to be an animal rights group rather than an animal welfare organisation, left suddenly last week due to ill health. After Grant spent hundreds of thousands of pounds on prosecutions on a handful of hunts, the RSPCA Council commissioned a review of the charity's work as a prosecuting body. Tanzania is fighting it out over big game hunting. The Tanzania Association of Tour Operators is trying to link legal hunting, which brings in $75 million a year, with poaching, and wants legal hunting banned. In reprisal, the Tanzania Professional Hunters Association is calling for heavy taxes on tour operators to raise funds required to equip anti-poaching squads. A church in Kentucky is finding a new congregation after offering them guns. In what its spokesman calls outreach to rednecks, the Kentucky Baptist Convention is leading Second Amendment celebrations, where churches around the state give away guns as door prizes to lure in non-believers in hopes of converting them to Christ.
And if hunting and fishing will win somebody to Jesus Christ, then that's what we'll do.
Viral wildlife film of the week goes to GoPro Hovercraft Deer Rescue. Two men who spotted deer stuck on a frozen lake in the USA used a hovercraft to tow them off. Thanks to viewer Steve McGee for sending in the link. And finally, viral hunting video of the week goes to Close Combat with Wild Boar by Pa Carlson. You just never know where that boar is going to come from. Thanks to Mark Gilchrist for sending this one in. You are now up to date with Fieldsports Channel News. Stalking the stories, fishing for facts.
Next up, let's see what you lot have been up to. It's Hallo Charlie.
Here's what the world's up to this week.
G'day Charlie, duck opening South Australia. Beautiful. 84-year-old BASC served at 3 generations. Full bag of black duck. On you, mate.
Hey Charlie, John Pierce here at Paddy's Pond up in Newfoundland. Doing a little ice fishing, having some lunch, a little soup, and catching some brown trout. Greetings from Newfoundland.
Charlie, just with my mate carp fishing. We had one this morning, but none since. The best of luck for the evening.
Hello Charlie, my name's Lucy from Como. I went up fishing with my dad. It was rubbish. This is what we got.
Send us your own Hallo Charlie. Film yourself on your mobile phone, just a sentence saying Hallo Charlie, who you are and what you're up to. Then share it or email it via YouTube, Facebook, Dropbox, or you send it, you name it, to charlie@fieldsportschannel.tv.
Now, affordable night vision is opening up more and more possibilities, but how do we ensure its future? We talk about it.
For an old-fashioned industry, we do get excited when a new bit of technology, or should I say technology that has now become affordable, comes our way. Night vision and thermal is transforming our sport. It's also transforming the way we film our sport. We've witnessed some amazing foxing and rabbiting that would have otherwise gone unseen. Seeing in the dark has been a revelation to many sporting shooters, and it's a privilege we'd like to keep. So, to ensure transparency and to promote awareness, a few of those involved with its development and use have arranged an evening hosted by BASC Eastern England. The audience is made up of around 70 interested shooters who have a keen interest in where the technology is taking us and to ensure that people don't get the wrong end of the stick.
When I'm skulking about in a blacked out vehicle, wearing drab clothing, not using any ocular illumination, if a bystander sees this, they think I'm a peeping Tom pervert or doing something else. And by ringing 101, the police know what we're up to, or what I'm up to.
Once Simon has put his ferrets to bed, out comes the FAC air rifle and the night vision. He calls 101 to ensure the police know he is out. It will not please everyone, but he is pushing for a code of conduct to make sure we're covered, just in case something goes wrong.
Because of modern day society, with people creeping around in complete darkness, drably dressed, not using lights, parked up in static situations in the shade, to the oblivious people, the populace, you may think you're a burglar or something even worse. Times have changed, and that's what this evening's about. It's about learning, appreciating that we've got to move forward and take the blinkers off, and we've got to start realising that laws and people's opinions of what we're doing have got to be changed. That's why if there was a code of good practice, then at least there's something written down to try and prevent any unwanted accidents when you're using this equipment.
Night vision has been around in many guises for a while. Foxing legend and author Robert Bucknell has been using it for decades.
It was interesting back in the last war, Churchill said, "I want second best now." And first class is always down the road. The equipment is getting better all the time. And to come along to a meeting like this, you're seeing all the latest developments and hearing it, and there are people here who are using the stuff, and they're going, "Oh, if you do this, that's better. Try that." It's got a lot of feedback. So a meeting like this is really good news.
The one thing envy isn't is sociable. Foxing with a lamp requires teamwork, but even that is now changing. The arrival of the Wi-Fi fed screen allows the driver to see the action through the scope as he sits in the driving seat, and that will soon be commonplace. Then there's thermal. The main speaker, Steve, helps develop night vision systems for a US company, and he suspects there will be a sporting thermal scope-mounted add-on on the market, and not for silly money, in less than 18 months. The last speaker is a Suffolk Police rural crime officer who knows that education is key. To help, BASC is offering to train new officers who may have never come into contact with a sporting firearm.
It's one of the best parts of my job doing the training courses, because you've got young officers, they've done part of their training, most of them come from towns and cities and they have not got the foggiest idea. A lot of them have never even seen a gun or a shotgun before. We talk about what gamekeepers do, shoot managers, the sort of things they like to see. We look at trapping, all sorts of things. So just try and give them a really broad brush understanding of what they might come across in the rural country environment.
Although the night is supposed to look at some form of structure or code of practice for users, the biggest discussion point is kit. The conclusion is that all our eyes are different, so a unit that works well for one doesn't for someone else. There will be more events like this coming soon, and maybe in your area. Visit basc.org.uk.
If you have any comments about night vision, why not stick them below down there on our YouTube page or on our Facebook page. And if you want to see how effective night vision is, watch Airheads this week. On the new show out at 7 o'clock on Thursday the 6th of March, we have Phil Price, technical editor of Air Gunner and Air Gun World magazines, reviewing the Walter LGV and showing that Springers can do the job. That's Springer air rifles, not Springer dogs. James Marchington is sorting out his trajectory, and Squirrel Ranger Jerry Moss explains how to set up the most irresistible feed station known to squirrel kind. We also have Fishing Britain. In Fishing Britain, top predator hunter Ant Glasgow Jr. gets together with Aaron Jones to catch 20 pike on the same day using surface lures. We explain why Jan Porter was cooking up snacks last week, Richard Chapman sniffs out some monk-delivered wild carp, and Howell Morgan is joined by both daughters to prove that learning to fish can be fun for all the family. Click on the link on the screen to watch it. Next week we'll be bringing you the latest kit, including night vision, from the Ewer gun trade show in Nuremberg in Germany. One piece of kit that's been greatly anticipated is Zeiss's new Superzoom scope, the V8. Dom Holtam has had a sneak preview.
Our goal was kind of to solve the problems Superzoom scopes got in the past. So we wanted to have a high performance orientated scope which is bright in comparison to the existing models on the market, which are mostly pretty much dark with low transmission values. We wanted to solve that. And we wanted to launch a Superzoom which is extremely versatile and comfortably in use. So with a big eye relief that you take the Superzoom and you automatically have a round picture and do not have to be for 100% perfect in the stock to have the opportunity to see something.
That sight picture is easy to acquire, or even in high magnification.
Even in high magnifications.
I can't help but notice it's got a very wide tube. That is clearly more than the standard 30mm tube that we're used to.
Well, this is the reason for the performance-orientated design, that 36mm tube. We do this because of optical performance on one hand and because of elevation. So we have more than 3 meters of elevation in the 1.8 to 14 by 50. And this allows us to arrange an ASV Plus, a bullet drop compensator, with 100 clicks. And this is pure long-range performance, because only having high magnification means nothing. You also have to compensate the bullet drop on long ranges. When you zeroed in on a 100-meter spot, simply using the bullet drop compensator, you can use it up to 700 meter and to aim spot and to hit spot.
We spoke earlier briefly about light transmission values. That is one thing that is normally sacrificed a great deal on a Superzoom scope. Do you have light transmission figures for this product?
This is the world record in Superzoom scopes. We have 92% light transmission, and this is what you can see in the field. You experience it during the last light of the day, you will see the difference.
So basically every single compromise in the Superzoom market has been addressed by this scope.
That was the goal of development. So we worked on them hard to kind of solve the problems Informer Superzooms got, and we can proudly say that it's done.
So perfect performance, zero compromise.
Exactly, pure performance.
Just launched, the Zeiss V8 is available in a limited number of countries around the world. For more, visit sportsoptics.zeiss.com.
Right, before we go, here are a few more reasons to spend time on YouTube. It is Hunting YouTube.
This is Hunting YouTube, which aims to show the best hunting and shooting videos that YouTube has to offer. We start with the channel Emrad, who sends in this film. He points out that the first step on the way to making rabbit sausages is to get the rabbit, and he does so with the Ruger 1022. The Coen brothers, Powell and Pressburger, both great picture partnerships. Now you can watch Lurcher Work and Ferreting, another superb filmic combination sent in by Andrew Reynolds and filmed by Andrew Reynolds. Actually, he filmed it, sent it in and spammed the channel with it, but it is a good video nonetheless. Less arthouse Coastal Ferreting by Andrew Edwards shows 2 lurchers, a few ferrets, no rain, a great end to the season. Fieldsports Channel viewer Reggie Buffett recommends this video from a German hunter made on the Baltic Sea near Poland. Turn on the English captions if your German is as ropey as mine. Anyone from the UK familiar with the angler J.R. Hartley will appreciate this pile of old schmaltz from Germany's Wild und Hund magazine, celebrating 120 years of publication. It shows an old hunter looking at the heads on his wall and smiling wanly at the memories. A film that's been popular with Fieldsports Channel viewers in the last week is Skinning a Deer with a Golf Ball and Pickup Truck. It's quick, easy, efficient, it's American, and it's probably not something you will do twice. Staying in North America, Nevada mule deer hunt has Danish channel JR hunting out after one of the USA's most iconic species. And finally, incredible goose hunting shows how Canada remains a wildfowler's dream country. In this clip from Mossback's Honkers Gone Wild, 2 teams of fathers and sons get in. You can click on any of these films to watch them. If you are missing the fishing films and the airgun films, watch our new shows Airheads and Fishing Britain. If you have a YouTube film you would like us to pop into the weekly top 8, send it in via YouTube or email me the link, charlie@fieldsportschannel.tv.
Well, we are back next week when we will be coming to you from Nuremberg in Germany, from that gun trade kit show. If you're watching us on YouTube, please hit the subscribe button. That's just about there, I think, this week. Or go to our webpage, fieldsportschannel.tv, where you can click to like us on Facebook or follow us on Twitter, or scroll down and pop your email address into the constant contact form, and we'll constantly contact you about our show, Fieldsports Britain, that's out 7 p.m. UK time every week. And this has been Fieldsports Britain. Good hunting, good shooting, good fishing, and goodbye.